bad guy. Bad guy. That's the bad guy. The bad guy. The bad guy. Commission. The bad guy. The bad guy. The bad guy. Load up that queen.
Fernandez now looking to throw and almost intercepted. That was a game.
What's up, everybody? How are we doing, man? Welcome back to another Can We Keep It Real live. You know, East Providence. Shout out to the freshmen over there at EP. Also the freshmen over there at Cranston West. They were playing a semifinals championship game yesterday. More should have been promoted about that game. A lot of people didn't even know that the freshmen had a championship game. But there was an injury on the field, as you can see on the screen. You can actually go to fans only sports and actually check out that game. They do all the Cranston high school games. We're actually going to have somebody on the show that's going to come on and talk about it, explain basically what happened and how they feel. You know,
bad guy. Bad guy. That's the bad guy. The bad guy. The bad guy. Commission. The bad guy. The bad guy. The bad guy. Load up that queen.
So give me a minute to put this on to kind of mute this sound.
Since then,
you know, a lot of things been going on at a lot of these games. Cumberland, you had a player assaulted during the pre-game meal. I mean, who gets assaulted by their own teammate? It's pretty wild. But we're gonna bring on. You know what? If she wants to say her name, I'll let her say her name. We're going to bring on an East Providence parent, I would say, to talk about what happened during that game. Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, how are you?
All right, welcome. Nice to have you. You know, sorry on these circumstances.
Yes, it was pretty
let's
crazy.
Talk about East Providence, Cranston West. Go ahead.
It was pretty crazy. It's a freshman game. It was a semifinal. Win or lose, my big concern is there should be an athletic trainer there at all time or an ambulance. Obviously, an ambulance is more expensive, but they never said anything until one of our players got hurt. Our head coach did speak up. My main concern is we stopped the game for a reason, not because we didn't want to play. It's just, and with everything that's been going on with athletes getting hurt, there should be someone there. So by right, all the parents should have stopped the game. I'm sure Cranston didn't feel that way. Whether they were winning or losing, I just don't think it's fair that they're moving on, but we stopped because of them. It was their home field.
And you feel, you know, East Providence called the game, and you feel that, you know, it's because they did not have an athletic trainer there. Then I've seen a lot of people on Facebook think that Cranston West should have to forfeit that game.
Correct. That's the way we all feel. A lot of the parents, you know, stated their opinion. But again, Cranston West didn't feel they were in the wrong. One of our kids did get taken in the ambulance with a concussion. Another one is home with a partial concussion, kind of. Just refused to go to the ambulance. But again, it took at least 15 to 20 minutes for the ambulance to come. God forbid if it was something worse.
Yeah, I noticed it was about 14 minutes. I know I was watching on Fans Only, and at 52 minutes into the stream, you know, they definitely deserve the semis. East Providence, you know, feels they did nothing wrong, but I noticed that like 52 minutes mark into the stream, that's when the injury happened. They called the game at 1:14 left, so that was about 17 minutes. Now you have some other people that are also want to come on and talk about this, right?
Yeah, there was a couple parents that were pretty upset because, again, we didn't know, and we probably would have never known unless someone got hurt. At the beginning of the game, one of their players got hurt, and they took him on the sideline and made him shake it off and went back in, which that's their choice or the parent choice, whatever. But I feel like if you're hurt, you should get checked out by someone that really knows what they're doing.
No, absolutely. And I've been saying it. I talked about this beginning of the year. Pontiac had the same issue, no athletic trainer. And some of these athletic trainers get paid big money. I think the one in Pontiac, it was a 5-year contract, made over $100,000, and they're not even at these games now. I looked up on RAIL to try to see if it was mandatory, and it just said it should. They should provide an athletic trainer. Nothing that says they absolutely do. Now, you all being parents of the freshman program, I assume, or if not, what do you think should the league have mandatory athletic trainers or rescue at all athletic games?
Yes, they should.
Now, I also have Miss Carrie on the screen if she wants to speak up, and I'll also bring up it says Christian, but I can't connect their device unless they logged out. But Carrie, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. My son also plays on the freshman team. And personally, I think something should have been said before the game even started, that they did not have a trainer on, so that we could have possibly stopped it before our kid even got injured the way he did.
Yes, in Article 19, it does say that there should be an athletic trainer, and as well as Article 34, it also talks about it. I was actually looking up some articles before, I was doing some research on this. So in separate places of the RAIL, it talks about having an athletic trainer. And while y'all are, telling me what happened, I'll bring that up. Carrie, do you want to talk about your experience? What happened yesterday?
So it was the same as hers. It was really scary. It was really upsetting because I get it's a game and our kids are all playing, but the other side was very aggressive when we had one of our boys down and we didn't know what was going on. That didn't seem to be their concern. They were just more concerned about the game, or we didn't even know what was happening to our boy out there.
So I hope RAIL will address this, at least in the future, for future games, so we have athletic trainers, because we got to keep all these kids safe. Football is a very dangerous game. We hear about them situations, and we let our children out there, hoping they're in the safest position possible. And you would think that the school or league would make sure there's an athletic trainer there.
Yes, with everything that's going on with all these kids getting hurt, basketball, football, it doesn't matter. I feel someone should be there at all times. God forbid if it was something worse than besides a concussion or something else, and he collapsed 15 minutes. I hate to say it, something worse could have happened because there was nobody out there. The Cranston side did not care. Obviously, all they cared was about win or lose, which, granted, we were winning, losing, whatever. It doesn't really matter at that point. It's the matter of someone being hurt and then being considerate. Even when I approached a parent, he was like, "Too bad, you should have brought your own." I'm like, "You guys are the home field. You guys supposed to bring it."
And
Yeah, no, from what I
unfortunately,
understand, go ahead.
that one parent who was the most aggressive, it was his son who caused the injury for our team.
Well, I really hope the individual that got hurt, I believe it was the quarterback, he took a pretty tough hit. I was looking at it earlier, and you can go to Fans Only Sports and watch that game and other Cranston West games. Has anyone reached out to Cranston athletic director at all and asked what Cranston policy is? I think each school
Nope.
may have a different policy.
Well, we have to wait until Monday, obviously, because he's not there. But we are going to reach out to him on Monday, which is
He'll
tomorrow.
definitely see this. They all pay attention. That's
Yeah.
for sure, But yes, no, I agree with you. I think all schools, I know Westerly actually travels with a doctor. Dr. Marzilli goes to all the games, and I think there's some other programs. But you're absolutely right, because God forbid, what if this kid needed emergency, something right away?
Correct.
I think these athletic trainers should be experienced in emergency medical, training.
As a parent that had a senior just recently and just graduated and off to college, I've been involved in football for many years since he was 8. He's actually 18 right now. And I've always seen an athletic director or someone there or someone that's trained at every single game, had no worries. Even in college, there's always an ambulance, someone there. And that's the way it should be, whether it's freshman, whether it's JV, whether it's varsity. It's just, it shouldn't be judged which team.
So yeah, the stance over there in East Providence that Cranston West should forfeit this game because you didn't have the right personnel, the right personnel team on the field. A lot of people probably feel the same way, and I like to see we're gonna bring up Future as well, give everyone an opportunity to speak. I kept everyone's pictures off the screen, because if they want to be on the screen, they will be, but nobody will be. Future. Let's see if Future is still here. Shout out to East Providence. What a beautiful facility. They're really trying to build a good program, and just to have a freshman championship game. I wish we would have known about that. I didn't even know the freshman was having a championship game, which is kind of insane, but.
And Future is a player. He is a freshman player, and he had to sit on the sidelines and watch what happened to his friend, and it was a very scary experience for these boys.
As a parent, it must be, it must be more of a scarier, seeing your son down there or your friend's son or a boy you watch grow up. East Providence being a very tight community.
It was even scarier that we didn't even know there was somebody until everybody, the coaches on the sideline started yelling. And then the head coach was like, I need medical attention and ambulance. And that's when they did something about it. But as you're sitting on the stand, you don't even know what's really going on until, no one's running out the field. All the parents are just, sitting there patiently waiting. And then we realize there's nobody there for him.
So parents are sitting there thinking, okay, they're going to have an emergency personnel come out right any minute now, and you're waiting, and you're watching adults on the sideline start to get out of control, and it must make you even more nervous.
Yes, so it was pretty scary.
So we'll see what East Providence is going to do. I know they have a new athletic director. I think he's doing a great job over there. I think Mr. Butler is his name, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I hope he's going to contact the league. And I think even RIL, they don't kind of do anything with football until playoffs come. And they say at all their playoff games, there's an athletic trainer there. And even though that was a freshman game, and let's not face the freshman and JV games, you've been to them, they get a lot less than varsity games. So we need athletic trainers at all these games.
We do. I agree.
If anyone else has anything that they want to say, I don't want to hold you. I just wanted to get basically what happened and see if we can change this, and in the future have athletic trainers at these games, no matter if it's a freshman game, a JV game, a varsity game. Every game should have equal importance to it, not just it's a varsity game and let's just have them there because that's where everybody goes. But so let's have them at all these games.
Yeah, we just had a game at Burville on the Monday, I believe it was the Monday or Tuesday, and there was one there, and it was their home field. I'm sure if it was East Providence, we would have had one there. I just feel they just felt the need. There was no need for one.
And I think it's because they see the freshman and JV games and things just get overlooked. And I seen varsity games that they don't have them as well. Like I mentioned earlier, Pontigansett game, there was an injury and no athletic trainer at all. I think it was against North Smithfield, and the North Smithfield coaches had to take care of the emergency themselves.
Yeah.
So, and that just can't happen.
Yeah, well, I would, as a parent, if my son was down and had a concussion, I wouldn't want someone that didn't know what they were doing clamming my son, especially with a concussion. That's a head injury. Maybe you're okay to send your kid right back, but that's something serious.
Absolutely. And we see East Providence parents, no joke when it comes to their children, man. They're ready
That
to
is correct.
But shout out to you. I hope to see East Providence doing much better in the future. Yeah, East Providence was always a juggernaut when I was growing up, so it's
Yeah.
not normal to see East Providence, not in the playoffs. And so
Right.
let's go EP.
Let's go, EP.
Well, if you guys need
Thank you so
anything
much.
else, always reach out. No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to our story.
Oh, no problem. You're always welcome. Bye bye.
Bye.
My granddaughter in the background stopped over to see her grandparents today and my grandson. But there we have it. East Providence parents are not too happy. Cranston West had no medical personnel in the building, on the field. Are we surprised? We're seeing this more and more and more. But they say Cranston West, you should forfeit because you wasn't properly prepared. You can go to Fans Only Sports and watch this entire game. Ronnie Roberts and his staff does a good job over there doing the Cranston games and other Rhode Island high school games. But yeah, that's crazy. And it's not too far fetched. Like, I'm not surprised at all. There was no athletic trainer there. But I thought in the rule book it says that you have to have one there. But as you see below, the home school should provide the service of a licensed doctor and/or licensed athletic trainer at all football games. The medical personnel must introduce himself to both coaches, and it goes on to say as well as the referees. That's in chapter 19 as well as 34. What else did we want to talk about? Everyone's familiar with the Cumberland Clippers situation. Now, what's crazy about that is here you go, Cumberland Clippers. Josh Lima, who's 3 games over 500 for his career, and he just won his 3rd career playoff game. Congratulations to Goofy Lima. Josh Lima. Congratulations to him. Now, he cuts 25 junior varsity guys ahead of the game, and it's not like you didn't have enough uniforms, jerseys. These kids, they were on your varsity sideline all season long. And I think right there, you being the only school to do that is crazy. And then you're having a pregame dinner, and you have a kid get seriously assaulted, where he has to go see an eye specialist now. And while I'm talking to parents about this, they say that Josh Lehman created a negative culture. He created a toxic environment that treats second-tier players like second-class citizens. That was a direct quote from a parent. I'm trying to get the rest of what the parent had to say, because I want to be exact. He said he created a toxic environment where less skilled players are seen as second-class citizens, and no one gets into trouble for showing them the same disrespect the head coach does. And I asked, is it true that no coaches or administrators from the school went in the rescue with your son? And I thought most schools, if there's an emergency, they send emergency personnel with the player. Well, I guess not in Cumberland. Another thing that Cumberland High School did not do, nobody from the school notified the parents. Imagine thinking your son is at a football game, having a pregame dinner, all this stuff, he's safe. And you get a phone call, not from the school, but from the Cumberland Police Department saying they're at the hospital with your son. And he is in the emergency room because he was assaulted by a teammate. See, rumor is they were riding this kid because you're not a varsity football player. It reminded me of Junior Soprano always coming at Tony. You never had the making to be a varsity athlete. They're riding these kids, and that is a culture. And it's no surprise. Coaches know it. This is what Lima has done over the 9-year span that the 42 and 45 coach, that's his record, 42 and 45, which is actually embarrassing, and nice things, and none of his former players come speaking up for him. You know why? A lot of his former players, and there's one particular that was going to speak up, he treated you like a second-class citizen. because you were a second-tier player. He didn't think you had the makings to go on. And here's a guy that you wanted to speak up for. A guy that didn't even want you to be a captain of his program. Didn't want you to represent his team, and you wanted to speak up for him. It is what it is. I reached out to the superintendent. He sounded like, yeah, like, how do you know these things before I know them, and it's my school? I said, the sad part is that I know these things before you know them, Mr. Superintendent, and it's your school. How sad is that? That people call me way before, because no one's going to do anything in the administration side. Josh Lima's heading on his way to a Super Bowl. And that's all they care about because, like I said, Cumberland won 3 career playoff games under Josh Lima, and 2 of them games being in the playoffs. But we came here to talk about that hit that you just seen on screen. Do we need athletic trainers at these programs? East Providence wants Cranston West to forfeit the game. Should they have to forfeit the game because they had no athletic trainer? RIL said you should have one. It don't say you have to have one. And should RIL change this rule? Should there be mandatory athletic trainers at these games? You can see up in the right corner in slow motion where the injury occurred. It was a pretty tough injury. It took 14 to 20 minutes for any emergency personnel to get to East Providence Field, to get on the field, and to take care of this young man's injury. And I pray that he is okay, and I hope that East Providence High School is going to do what they have to do to get athletic trainers at all of these football games, whether it's a JV game, a freshman game, whatever it is, man. Big games this week. Division 3 has been the most exciting division by none. Burrillville High School, upset of the week, going up to Westerly. Anyone that ever been to Westerly knows Westerly is a tough place to get a win. Coach Ferraro seems to have Westerly's number, but we're going to talk about that and more coming up.
Let's go, come take a ride through my city life. See what my city's like. It's the city life, for some it's a shitty life. This is city living, mostly them city children. From my bedroom, see the lights of them city buildings. Ain't gotta act hard, Providence my backyard. I run road out, you can call me a track star. And we a team, homie, all is one. I don't sleep until all is done. I ain't ruckus, so please don't call me Mr. 401. It's Mr. Rags, you can call me, I'm still in that 401. From where we was, look at all we become. For what it's worth, I put my all in the sun. Know that my city love it, my city.
throughout, but like
That's
most
what's made him the
quarterbacks
GOAT.
don't do that. What?
Well,
That's
why
what
he's better than
what's made
everybody.
him the GOAT.
Hey, we out of here.
All right, thank you guys. We never done. It's Mr. Speaker.
Well, rest in peace, Mr. Wayne, the voice, Matthews. I think someone else had something they wanted to say about this. Ami, if they want to come on, I don't know if they want their camera on or off, but I'm bringing them up on the screen in 1 second. Hey, what's up, man? Welcome. We were talking about the East Providence Cranston West game. Did you have something you wanted to add to that situation?
I was having a conversation with my son last night about the game and just what was transpiring on the field as they were playing, and he was just giving me the lowdown on how these kids were intentionally being hurtful, like intentionally trying to pick up the players, and one would pick them up and two would come and bang right into their chest or their ribs. And I think that's completely unethical. The fact that they didn't have a medical trainer there speaks volumes as to how much they care for their kids or the lack thereof. Uh, it's not good sportsmanship at all.
I totally agree with you, and I could imagine as a parent hearing all that, it kind of has to make you get that lump in your throat. You're nervous for your kid to be out there in the future. Do you plan on approaching the school about this?
Well, I'd like to know what can be done, because I mean, this was a big deal. The fact that it was one of the final games, and they were really looking forward to having this opportunity, and to have the game taken away from them like that simply because the negligence, really, and poor sportsmanship. It needs to be addressed in some way, shape, or form. So I would love to educate myself on how to do that.
Sorry about that. I would definitely reach out to RAIL and let them be known. They have a lot of rules under rule number 34. It talks about this, but it doesn't say it's mandatory. It said they should have an athletic trainer at these games, and I think it should be mandatory at all these games that we have athletic trainers, or emergency personnel. The home school should provide the service of a licensed doctor and/or licensed athletic trainer at all football games. The medical personnel must introduce himself to both coaches and referees at the start of the game. So they put in the language they should. I think it should be mandatory. Well, hopefully, we can hopefully we can get athletic trainers at the game because of this. Is there anything else you wanted to add to this? Someone said, I know I watched two kids get taken off the field on a stretcher, no athletic trainer at another game. Yeah, that's we can't allow that. You go to Fans Only Sports and watch this stream. Thank you all the parents that came up. Thank you, Ami. Thank you to all the players. And East Providence is looking for a forfeit. They want Cranston West to forfeit the game, another game, the Cumberland Burrville game, another game where you had 5 kids, 7 kids, 8 kids on the field. You never had 11 kids on the field, and that's negligence because, Lima sent a coach that, can't count to 11 basically, and he's a math teacher. You got to have 11 kids on the field. You're putting kids in danger. You got to have an athletic director, athletic trainer there. Coaches should not be on the sideline bandaging kids and getting blood to stop because the blood rules are pretty intense with RAIL. They don't want any kids bleeding. But the Burrville and Cumberland game, the Cumberland coach constantly had less than the amount of kids on the field, and a player got hurt. 2 players got hurt that game. We got into the Cumberland stuff earlier. So much going wrong with the Cumberland situation. A player gets assaulted by his own teammate. I talked about the parents treating players like second tier players, get treated like second class citizens. 11-7. Yes, we should have 11 guys on the field, but they constantly had 7 guys on the field. Thanks all the parents for East Providence, for coming up. This is the most parents we had on a panel at one situation, and I hope that player, what a hit that was. Go to Fans Only Sports and check that out. A lot of big games coming up this week. Cumberland going to be taking on St. Ray's. St. Ray's said, we want that his ass. Burrville, after beating Westerly, they're going to be taking on, Barrington, I believe. So, Burrville plays Cumberland, I'm sorry, and vice versa. Barrington plays St. Ray's. I apologize. On Division 3, Lincoln and West Warwick, they have a tough game. I'm going to say it today. Whoever wins that Lincoln-West Warwick game will be going to the Super Bowl. Eric Rube, our fearless leader over there at the Providence Journal, he's guaranteeing Middletown a playoff game. I mean, that is a lot to guarantee. Eric Rube has said and done crazier things.
Listen, no one's going to give you more coverage. No one's going to be at more games. No one's going to be more informed. I'm not just some guy sitting in his basement spouting off about who's winning games and who's doing what. We're real. The rebellion is real. Providence Journal coverage is going to be real this year. It's almost here. 3 days away. Listen.
That's my son.
Listen, no one.
Get out of here, Eric. Go away. We're all done with you now. But thank you everybody. Appreciate it. Gonna go spend some time with the grandchildren.
We don't do no talking. We know what they do for the view.